I'm Lucy Edwards, Director of Strategic Engagement at Metaport and VHT Studios. And today I'm at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Georgia Properties. And my guest is DeAnn Golden, the President and the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Georgia Properties.
Well, welcome, Lucy. This is such a joy for us to welcome you to Atlanta, Georgia, to our home office here in Roswell, Georgia. I have just admired you and all that you do for our industry for over 2 decades. And we're just thrilled to have you here in our neighborhood and in our home today. So welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I'm enjoying Georgia. That's my first time actually here, like spending some time, and it's beautiful time of the year. So yes, absolutely. And your office is great. And I've been mingling with your people. So yeah, I am here. I'm here for a reason. So DeAnn, I would like to start talking about the success story. You've been in the industry or in real estate since you were a little girl. And why do you like real estate? And how did it all started? How did you land here?
Oh, it's a sweet story. And I'll try to make it brief, but it was 1978, and actually my mother was studying for a real estate license, and she was asking me to help quiz her for test questions. And so we would do that, and she passed. And I remembered the joy of her being able to say she was going to welcome people to our hometown of Athens, Georgia, which is about 70 miles from where we're at today. And I watched her career as a small child. And from very young, she would actually, some of my tours would be, she would give me postcards. It was, geofarming before we even knew what geofarming was in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And she would have me hand address postcards on the kitchen table for her open houses or her new listings. And she would actually offer me like a little tour money if I would answer the phone. Now, this was before pagers, beepers, cell phones, texting, social media. I don't even think we had answering machines back then, but she even encouraged me to answer the phone and to ask people if we could help them. And I had a script of how to answer the home phone. It was, "Thank you for calling Blanton Residence. How may we help you?" And that was as a young child. So fast forward, I watched my mom flourish and the love for helping people and welcoming into the community. I never really at the time saw it be my career. I actually went on to college and had a first career, as I say, in pharmaceutical sales, and then pursued my MBA. But it was while I was getting my MBA that I watched my mother taking the next step and growing her own company. Oh. And full circle, she needed a receptionist. And so while I was getting my MBA, I thought, well, I can do this. I've grown up answering the phone for her all my life. And so I started answering the phone for her while I was completing my graduate degree. And then I went for a summer job. And again, I started as a receptionist in Charleston, South Carolina, an incredible real estate firm right in Mount Pleasant. They were very integral in kind of inspiring me to consider this. And here I am. I got licensed in 1995. And today I've had the privilege of serving as a receptionist, as a listing coordinator, a marketing coordinator, an office admin, an assistant, a team member, a realtor for many years. And then I came to this company as a coach and trainer, and then ultimately a managing broker, and then the privilege I have today to serve our team in this role.
Well, that is a fantastic story.
It all starts with answering the phone. So as realtors, it all goes back to answer the phone. That's right.
But I would say that part of your success is because you went through so many stages. You learned every layer that real estate really involves for your success, and that I think you. First of all, you cannot really be born as president and CEO unless your parents just hand it to you. But if you grow from ground zero and like you did, invested so much energy in those layers, that's what brought you here.
Well, it's rewarding because I do think I can have an understanding for each person, whether it's our wonderful receptionist that's welcoming, our director of first impressions right outside our office today. I've done that. I've experienced that. Whether it's helping an agent with the marketing of a property, I've had that opportunity to serve others from that perspective. Whether it was, working in accounting at my mother's firm and helping with process payment of commissions and taking care of bills and so forth, kind of that behind the scenes, and then the training and coaching piece. But it all comes back to, if you really think about all the components of what we do. I mean, right now, not only here in Atlanta, Georgia, but in our great state of Georgia and across the nation, I mean, people are being welcomed home and on to their next great move because of what we do behind the scenes. And I think that's what I love the most, is knowing that, you know, we're really making an impact in people's lives and communities.
And especially now, there are so many people that are moving from the whole country, and Georgia welcomes everybody from every corner of not just the country, of the world. And I think that is also so important. And that brings me to a question of brand,
Yes.
reputation. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services brand by itself and Home Services of America are they are well known worldwide. But how do you leverage that brand as a leader to invite other agents to join the brand, and how agents leverage the brand when they meet with their clients?
That's a great question. You know, it is such a privilege to be able to know that we are a part of the 7th most admired brand in the world out of all industries, not just real estate, but all industries. So that carries, I think, to us such a privilege. It's a pride to know that wherever you go, there is a level of standards, a level of expectations, you know, that's built on strength, stability, longevity, and trust. And, you know,
Yes.
that is, to know that is at the foundation. It permeates who we are and what we do. I think one of the most beautiful pieces is when you speak to real estate, I mean, it's the adage, real estate's local. So we have this magnificent, you know, brand that sets the standards, but then we're able to kind of wrap our arms around all those core values and the tenets and the pillars and bring it home to what's happening in the backyards here in Roswell, or maybe it's in Peachtree City, or up at the lakes and mountains, or in Buckhead, or out in Cherokee County, or wherever we're privileged to serve with our 29 offices and our 1,500 sales professionals. We try to bring forth, you know, that same strength, stability, trust, guidance, reputational value, so that when people are entrusting us with what's for most people their most financially largest investment, they know when we come into the home, or we come to speak to them about their commercial investments or their properties, that we're coming at them not as a hobbyist, but as a full-time professional. And that, I think, too, it's such a sense of pride to know that our sales associates are not just going in individually. You know, they have a team behind them. And that's what is such another sense of pride for me here at our company, with our 100+ employees, that we serve as the team for our sales professionals when they're out serving our clients. So it's sort of that trilogy of having the local ability to exude the brand and bring it to the kitchen table, or to be able to have, you know, a client in our car, but to know that we're backed nationally and globally through both HomeServices of America, our parent company, and the Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices brand. It's a pretty amazing magic.
It is magic, but it's also a big responsibility. The brand is so strong and so well respected. Everyone who joins your team really have to live up to the brand.
They do.
And that brings me to the question of coaching, training, because in order for you to have the team of agents who provide the right service, who are proud, just like you are, of the Berkshire Hathaway brand, they need to live up to it. They need to be able to, like if they get a referral from California, Berkshire Hathaway California Properties, they will provide the same service as California does. So it is consistent trust, quality, integrity, just like you said. So let's talk about coaching, education, which I know is very close to your heart.
It is. I always love to say I'm a coach and trainer at heart. You know, I've always believed that when you're given the opportunity to bring this brand into the homes of our clients, or into bringing people, whether they're buying or selling or investing or renting or just planning their real estate lifestyle plan, you know, our core values have to permeate, which our first core value, as you've seen on our statement here, it's integrity first. And that's a non-negotiable. In a very highly negotiable business, Integrity first is the non-negotiable. When it comes to our vision statement at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Georgia Properties, it's the right choice. And it's about making the right choice for our clients. Sometimes that might even be like walking away and saying, it's not the right time, Lucy. Let's revisit, let's re-strategize. But if we do the right thing, we can never go wrong. And so from day one, when we have the privilege to wrap our arms around, whether it's a new associate or someone that's maybe coming and becoming a part of our company from another brand or another experience, we want to invest in training. Knowledge is power. And it's not just the training, which I've always said that's kind of like the transfer of knowledge. Training is sort of a one way. We're just transferring knowledge. But when you can wrap in the coaching and the accountability, that's where you really can transform people. So when I came to this company, I was very privileged. I actually was hired as the training director.
Yes, that's why I wanted to come to that question. You are a training director, and that is one of your hats that you were wearing, right?
It is, and there is nothing more rewarding because we're always going to be evolving this business. It's always changing. It's always transforming. It's always growing. You will never know it all. Now I'm going into, many, many years, almost my third decade in this business. And I think why I love it the most is because every day I learn something. And just when you think you've mastered something, you kind of raise the bar and you can always get a little bit better. So here at Georgia Properties, whether it's a new associate or a very tenured associate, or we have over 87 tenured associates that have been with our company over 20 years.
Wow.
So not just in the industry, we have many more than that. We're always trying to meet them where they're at to take their knowledge and their skill set because consumers are hungry for knowledge. And back in the early days, back when I used to have an MLS book as my booster seat, true story. And I think I did Photoshop before Photoshop was even around or computers were around because my mom would sit me down with an MLS book and I'd be waiting on her to get done with appointments and I'd have a box of crayons. I'd be coloring the grass and the black and white books. And, think about the evolution of our industry. From the 70s to 80s to 90s, or those people that have been in the business before, it's constantly evolving. So you got to skate to the punk, as Wade Gretzky would say. You got to always be willing to learn and evolve. So to us, when we can train and coach, a couple of things. One, we're growing our skill set to be able to respond to the needs of the consumers. But it also provides an incredible source of collaboration. There is such synergy when we can collaborate, and whether it's a mastermind group or whether it's a brand new agent group, or whether it's taking our top seasoned agents and going in and really working through the typical objections of the day or some of the hurdles that we're faced with in the evolving business world that we're faced with, whether it's third-party economic factors of mortgages and lending and what have you. We get better. We are stronger together, as Gina
Stronger
says.
together, indeed.
That's
yes,
right.
That's where we met.
That's exactly how we met. And thank you, Gina. That is so true. Whether we're networking and working within our own office, which, Lucy, think about this. All of our sales professionals are independent contractors. And I think so often in the industry, that is such a mindset. They are CEOs of their business. But here, they are CEOs of their business. But we really try to provide an ecosystem where they can collaborate and exchange ideas and get a little bit better today than they were yesterday, and a little bit better tomorrow. And then we'll be better for the consumer tomorrow, the next day, the next week, as it evolves. So I think having a culture of where there's constant learning, it's innovation, it's exciting. You never feel stagnant, but you also know that it's okay to never know it all, because you won't. But you've got a resource.
As long as you're willing to learn, you want to embrace the new directions, and we will talk about technology in a minute. But while we are on coaching, I see that in your conference room you have Forever Agent training with DeAnn Golden, and I guess you had it more than once. And your agents, your team, embrace the new direction of what you can provide to your client by being Forever Agent.
I'm so glad you mentioned
and
that.
Taking the oath.
Yes, taking the Forever Pledge. Thank you, Alan Dalton and Christy and Gino. Think about, and I'm going to go back to my mother for a moment. This is someone that 44 years in the business, she's still actually in Referral Associates. She was a Forever Agent. She wasn't just there for one transaction or for one client or for one sale. She would start with someone who was maybe at the rental stage. And then over the course of her business, worked with them through growing into a home or a townhome to a home to a larger home to a second home to then, their children going to college or their children then having a family. And so like when you think about the just multifaceted ability to not just be there for one moment, which in our industry, the statistics are there. I think the latest NAR statistics is that 87% of agents, do not make it past that first 3 or 4 years. We want to be that group that's not only that 13% that is making it, but we want to own the ability to serve that group that is really committed to being a forever agent, not just for one moment in their time, but to be there for their clients. Because as I know other NAR statistics talk about that, the majority of people are pleased with the agent that they had before. But then the facts resonate that only 11% use the same agent.
Exactly.
And it goes back to that they're not there. They were there as a hobbyist. They did a transaction or 2 transactions, or they did it for a moment in time. But when we counsel our agents, we ask them, what is their envisionment to be able to make this a sales acceleration formula kind of principle, a repeatable, scalable, predictable, and one day sellable asset, because that asset is not the homes, it's people, it's people's lives. And that's the most important. And Alan Dalton, what he has done for our company as Vice President of Research and Development, to bring the Forever Agent movement, not just into words, kind of like today we're talking about being committed to it, but into really a series of doctrines, a series of philosophies, a series of training, taking a pledge. And I was really excited this year. We celebrated our 60th year in Atlanta, Georgia as a company. We were founded in 1963 by Ed Urbisfeld and have been in the city and in the state since 1963. But at our 60th anniversary, the beautiful wall of pledges that you saw, we had all of our associates that had taken the pledge sign that they were committing and were going to be a forever agent. And then I have actually set a big, hairy, audacious goal, my BHAG, to have 100% of our agents take the Forever Agent Pledge and not just say the words, but really be committed.
Feel it with your heart and commit.
That's right. That's right. And it just goes into 2. I actually gave out today 2 of the real estate lifestyle planning guides, which are part of the Forever Agent movement, which are letting our consumers know that we're not just there at point of sale when they need to buy, sell, invest, or lease, but we want to help them build a strategy and be that consultant for their life span of how they can gain wealth through real estate and achieve their dreams. So it's really exciting. I get kind of excited about
it. It is exciting indeed. It is. And Alan, he's a genius. And he does it with his heart. He strongly believes in every word he says. So it's not just a written book that he's repeating. He really worked on it. And he put his heart into it, all his emotions. And when he talks about Forever Agent, you just want to jump and be one. That's because I've been to some of his presentations and I met with Alan. So yeah, that is...
and he challenges status quo. He gets us in a mindset of thinking about, the marketing proposal. It's not a listing presentation.
It's not a listing. Yeah, it's not a database.
That's right.
And you are not a past agent. You are not serving a past client.
It's how we should be serving others. It's yes, my last name is Golden. It is the golden rule. It's treating others the way they want to be treated, particularly when it comes to buying and selling a home.
DeAnn, you also mentioned culture. Culture is very important. A lot of agents, that's how they choose the brand. Obviously, it's very important to have the right brand behind you as Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices with all the bells and whistles that come with the brand. But culture is so important. Someone has to really feel comfortable and understand that they belong here and they want to be here. So what separates your brand, not just Berkshire Hathaway, but Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Georgia Properties, from your competition and maybe even from other Berkshire brands?
So wonderful conversation point, because to me, when you think about culture, it is grounded in the relationships that you're gifted to build with other people. I as a solo person cannot build culture. You have to have everyone believing in the values and the aspirations and the movement that you want to make to have that ripple effect is
Right.
what I say. And then that becomes sort of the aura, and people lean in and they feel a part of something bigger than just themselves. So when I've been so blessed to be a part of this company now for 20 years. And when I see the fact that it goes beyond just real estate, it goes beyond the buying and selling. Last night, just for an example, we have a staff member who, it's an amazing story. We are so proud of what she has overcome because she's had some challenges in her life. And our team members actually surprised her with a housewarming party.
Oh.
And they came together and they brought sofas and utensils for her kitchen, and they got her gift cards to set up her new house. And this was someone that is one of our employees, but our sales professionals saw a way to help someone else that's always there every day, helping them with a smile. We give back through Sunshine Kids, children with cancer, and bringing smiles. We try to make a difference in the communities. When we see one of our colleagues hurting or maybe going through a difficult time, we try to lean in. So, it goes beyond how we work together to help each other be able to be highly successful in real estate. We have a group this November. We call it our Moving Forward group. And it's people in our company that have maybe had a tragedy and lost a spouse or a loved one.
Mm.
And holiday times can become difficult. Now, I'm widowed. I experienced it myself.
Mm.
I was always so grateful that I had my family here at BHHS Georgia to lean in. And so we bring them together, and we have a book club, and we'll have a nice luncheon, and we have a chance just for connection and community. And I think that's what culture centers on. So to me, it's one of the most fragile and precious pieces of an organization, and it's grounded in the people and the relationships, trust, honesty, being able to have authentic conversations, and being real. But yes, culture is something that you can't just wave a magic wand. It's something we all aspire for, but when it's there, it's almost something you can't even describe.
It's just magic.
It's the magic. And it makes you rise every day, and just so grateful to be with your people. And
happy to come to work, and happy to mingle with your colleagues and your co-workers, and come and cry or laugh or share beautiful
or high five
moment.
when we have a big set. Some of the greatest journeys, as I think back on my career, have been some of the most difficult transactions, or maybe it was one of my colleagues that's gone through a hard diagnosis or something challenging in their life, or and then it's not how hard you fall, it's how high you bounce, as Zig Ziglar says. The setback gets you set up for the comeback, and as you go through life, to know that you have people that care. A part of our mission statement is that we are committed to delivering the highest quality real estate brokerage services, but with a we care spirit. Because if we care, even if we don't make that perfection, or we reach that goal, or we achieve that, although we're very competitive and we're very good at it, but if we do it with care and heart,
Mm-hmm.
then we win the day.
So is that your office slogan, or is that the company?
So it's our vision statement for the company is the right choice.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If it comes in time of a transaction, if it comes in times of someone's personal life, or if it comes in just time of need or joy or celebration or whatever it is, if we lean in and make the right choice with integrity first,
Mm-hmm.
as I said earlier, we won't go wrong, right? So that's sort of the underlying thoughts. But we are so proud. You mentioned it earlier too. Being in Atlanta, the metropolitan city in the state of Georgia, and with Hartsfield International and so much diversity, and just being a hub of so much multicultural activity,
Mm-hmm.
we have an incredibly vibrant diversity, equity, and inclusion committee and council that does so much. And this year it was interesting. I was speaking before the group, and I was just speaking from my heart. And I said, one of the things as I look back at my career here and my experience here is that, here at our home of BHHS Georgia Properties, you can be you. Every single one of our associates, we want them to be their authentic self.
And you will be accepted just the way you are.
That's right. And then you can become who you want to be. If you want to become a top producing sales associate, we're going to do everything we can to equip you there. If you want to become maybe a manager or a leader or a leader in your community or giving back and charity, we want to help you become who you want to aspire to be. And at the end of the day, we want people to have a sense of belonging. So, be you, become who you want to be, and then know that you have a place of belonging here is really special. I love to end my town halls that we do, and I say, Berkshire Hathaway, our name, that's who we are, right? That's who we are. That's who we've been blessed to have the namesake of. HomeServices is what we're so proud to provide to everyone. And that's not just the brokerage, that's the mortgage, the title, the insurance, the warranty, all that. We've got the commercial piece, we've got new homes, we've got luxury, we've got property management, we've got an auction, we've got all that pieces kind of coming together. And then Georgia Properties is where we love to bring you home, whether you're our sales professional that chooses to be with us, and we're gifted with the privilege to carry your career forward, or one of our clients that we help move to a Georgia property or from or around the globe. So I think it all stems with heart. And as somebody also heard me say recently that, in the world we're in and there's so much, we navigate the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I think that really, helped bring us even closer because we were so far apart. Mm-hmm. But to the stronger together, coming back and always being there, we were never too far apart. But right now, more than ever, I think the team hears me say that, kindness in this world, gratitude and respect for everyone has a forever home here. And I mean that because we think it's just everything is business, but it really starts from the heart and having people feel that they are a part of something where they can belong and be themselves. So.
Well, that is so true, and that just really touches everyone's lives, and that's why I believe that your company is so successful because you share your heart with everyone here. You are available when they need you. Your doors are always open, and everyone who talks about you, they smile. So immediately they start smiling. So that tells me something.
Oh, that's sweet. But we're all human.
Yeah.
And
but it's the culture. It's the culture that your team is building. It's not just you. I'm sure you have the strong leadership team here who supports you and your vision. That is important. It is team effort, and your team, and you are choosing right people to be on your team to lead and to lead your agents.
Let me speak to that, Lucy, because the team here at Berkshire Hathaway, HomeServices Georgia Properties, for one, so many of us, particularly, it's you hear the word leadership, but we're the ones here serving our sales professionals and our clients and our staff. But the team that kind of is based out of our home office, so many of us have worked together for 20, 30 years. We are family. They know I will let them down. They know I will make mistakes. They know that I won't always do everything the way that'll make everybody happy, but they care. And we lean in and we keep moving forward. Our broker team, we have 21 brokers across the state of Georgia. They are passionate. They care. They love their associates. They want to help. And that's kind of like, what do we look for in our management and our staff? People with heart, people that care. We can coach them, we can groom them, we can teach the mechanics, we can teach the skills. But if you come with heart, and you come with care, and you come with care for humanity and other people, then it makes for a really, really beautiful thing. But whether it's our marketing team, who you've met some today, or our new homes, or our accounting, or our property management, or whichever division. If I start naming divisions, I always forget divisions. And IT, I don't want to forget IT, and relocation, I don't want to forget you too. I know, I'm going to forget somebody, and they're going to let me know later. But I was thinking of you, okay? So again, I'll always mess up with something. But from our office administrators and our, I call them our directors of first impressions, to, everyone on the team, there's such an important role. We can't march together without having everybody in synchronicity, and it makes for a beautiful thing. So,
I would like to talk about artificial intelligence. It's a scary word for a lot of people. However, we have to learn to embrace the technology, to live with technology, most importantly, to incorporate in our everyday life. For agents in today's environment, especially when they have their clients, buyers and sellers who are intelligent, who are up to date, who are learning everything about real estate, and they think they know more about real estate than the realtor does. So with artificial intelligence, how do your agents embrace and learn from it and incorporate in their everyday life?
And what I am finding with our associates is we're working on being able to incorporate it to help us be able to span the internet, pull the information, look for resources, do things more efficiently, be able to respond to consumers' needs, be able to understand how to kind of get the algorithms on Instagram and Facebook to be in front of our consumers. I always say this is a high-touch business. But when you can wrap in some high technology, it can make things a little bit more efficient. But there will never be a computer, a machine, a technology that will take the place of what we do in our minds. So while we have been so proud that we've been on the forefront of bringing ChatGPT and AI training, we've just finished another series of 4 different trainings on it for our associates that are interested in it. It has been fascinating. It opens the eyes to the possible. Mm-hmm. It also, I think, helps us be able to communicate. That's what I think I love most about ChatGPT is it helps us be more effective communicators, to kind of get our ideas to be effective in how we're marketing or effective in how we're communicating. But I do believe this, at the end of the day, you've got to always internalize it and still speak from the heart. How DeAnn Golden's going to answer your question is definitely going to be a lot different than ChatGPT.
No, I agree with you.
But I think it's going to be key, and I think that it's going to be just like years ago when I remember sitting in a class in 1995. And if I can, it's okay, I remember it was David Knox that raised his hand and said, "Who here in this class has an email address?" And very few people did. The people that raised their hand, his second question was, okay, so those of you smarty pants that think you are ahead of the rest of the class, do you have your email address on your business card? One person raised their hand. And I think we're at an evolution where people are still a little skeptical. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of skeptics and a lot of criticism. But I think if you take it for the ability, just like those of us that kind of got an email address back, in 1990s before we knew what it would do, you're going to be constantly evolving and learning. And what I love about ChatGPT right now in particular is I learn. It enlightens me. It gave me some thoughts today about where maybe I've not taken our team yet with some of the new photography and some of the new imaging and some of the things we'll be able to do in marketing, where AI and ChatGPT will be able to be effectively used, and just always ensure that it's done with the legal rights and that you're never violating copyrights and things like that. But for right now, it's a whole new exciting way to see how we can serve our consumers. And I think it's pretty impressive, actually. I get excited with it.
Also, I would like to bring up Matterport and 3D tours and digital twin, the scanning. I think that is, I know it's part of our artificial intelligence, and that helps someone who is in Portugal right now and would love to have a property in Georgia, and they can just go through the property. It does not replace the realtor. It doesn't replace the real estate professional, but it helps someone across the globe to understand what they're buying.
I'm so glad you asked that question. I was expecting you to ask that just a moment ago, because do you know the first 2, number 1 and number 2, recommendations for AI that came upon a moment ago when I asked ChatGPT for how AI will be most effective? And you just hit it. Number 1 was with property recommendations and helping consumers really get to the buyer match and the needs of what they're looking for. And then 2, with the power of virtual tours, and to be able to be in the living rooms with someone wherever they're at, to be able to get a better sense and feel. So there's going to be such, I think, an evolution and just a fast forward. Today, I mean, we've even looked at it in the past 5 years. Think about, Matterport, where we were even 5 years ago, mm-hmm. and the incredible advances and how it's become so much more fluid, and you really get a chance to feel it, see it. And the consumer today in any industry, whether it's somebody that's trying on jeans in their home off of Amazon and wants to, see how it fits, or they're placing furniture, or they're looking at colors. There's this whole new whiteboard out there, that the power of AI, and it's so exciting to see what all you do with it. But there's no question that, it will never take the place of ultimately being able to have a consumer face-to-face and get to know you and get to really understand and feel. But when we can't be together, this is going to expedite the process. My hope and expectation is that we'll continue to make a more seamless transaction, because it can be stressful. You'll get a list of 30 properties. Where do you start? You see a printout from MLS, and it's all 4-bedroom, 3-bath, this. But when you can start to see the photography and the rich storytelling and the video come to life and the virtual tours, and you get to feel it and imagine what it would be like for you to be walking through that front door, or you to be welcoming friends into your home, or you to be rising up and having coffee the next morning there and making memories. I mean, that's pretty special. And it brings it from kind of flat and 2D to truly the 3D, which is, life is definitely 3D in motion.
DeAnn, tell me please, how do you see a future agent or the agent of 2024? What qualities they should possess to be successful and to thrive in that very busy real estate landscape?
I was just asked this the other day, and I was reminded of Calvin Coolidge's quote that nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. And having watched many cyclical churns in the real estate industry over, not only my career, but the 4+ decade career of my mother, anytime there is a normalizing and equilibrium, some people may say it's a down market. I always like to look at it as just a leveling back to normalcy. That is when your true professionals will rise up. We will see, as I've said several times already in our conversation, people that are dabbling in this business that thought it would be easy, thought it would be something they could whisk into, and it would be, like on TV, and it would be all beautiful. I think they will realize this is not the forever place for them to be, to really take care of people's greatest financial assets and to be there for the long haul, and to really be able to be a consultant and a guide and to help them craft a real estate lifestyle plan. I think, resilience, but moreover, I was just meeting with an incredible top agent in our company today, earlier, and we talked about the power of resilience and keeping your head down when there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of clutter. There's a lot of headlines. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of friction. There's a lot that can take you off of your focus for rising every day to try to help the people you're blessed to serve and that you can impact. So the word resilience was something that really echoes with me. Now more than ever, it is back to basics. I think during the height of the market with the pandemic and the frenzy, basic skills, negotiating, price positioning, helping get buyer consultations, helping sellers really understand the process, helping a seller understand the type of marketing we're going to do if we don't just sell it immediately, which that was just a very much abnormality in the market. So
picking up the phone is important.
Seeing people, meeting people, not being afraid to communicate. And I think I'd leave it on this too. I think communication, what is it? There's a saying or some research that says, when we communicate as human beings, there's at least 18 ways we can miscommunicate between what I said and what you heard, what you thought I said, what I didn't say, what you wanted to hear, and then vice versa, and then kind of that whole, mirrored array. So as we really spend a lot of time with our agents and the coaching and training aspect, what you say, words matter. And the words are just the 7%. The tonality's in the 38% of how it makes you feel, right? And then the interpersonal skills is that 55%. So if you're just texting with a client, or you're just emailing, even if you're trying to make it come from heart, it can resonate wrong based on where you're at in your place or how you're hearing it. So being able to be relationship builders, that is time tested. That is what has helped great agents years ago. That is what's helped the Alan Dalton Forever agent persevere. But realizing that it is a people business and it is a contact sport. You've got to be willing to contact people. And when it gets stressful and when it gets difficult and when there's hard moments in it, that's all the more when you got to lean in and help people get better clarity and understanding. So that's my envisionment.
Well, I love your vision. That is, and that's why again, that is the part of the culture that lives in this office, and that's one of the reasons that someone wants to be on your team and be part of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Georgia Properties.
Well, I see it. They inspire me. I mean, I watch the forever agents here, those that have navigated the market times, good, bad, and I get inspired watching how they do persevere, and so much of it is about attitude and coming from a place of heart, trying to make a difference in the lives of others.
Well, thank you, DeAnn. Thank you so much. What a beautiful conversation. I just really enjoyed every topic we touched, and I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate how you think differently from others. My question was, what separates you from others? The way of thinking and the vision definitely does a great job.
We care. We want to see our team thrive and just have rewarding careers and lives, and help other people bring home great opportunities and moments in life. So that's what separates
all
us.
The best to you, your agents, and your team and your leadership team. Thank you, DeAnn.
They're the best.
All the best.
Privilege. Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.